funny story about her motor. We went to this show called Dino's Get Down.
Yeah.
And just for the heck of it, we were like, let's put in a raffle. And Dino was giving away a crate LS3.
Oh.
Sure enough, her name was called.
Really?
We were sitting there, and we were just, oh, let's get a better view. And like,
yeah.
And so all of a sudden, they pulled her name, Chris, and we were like, whoa, what the hell? Like, you know.
Yeah.
And then,
are you sure you called the right name?
Exactly. And then we went back and signed, you know, went over what the procedure was, and they shipped it to my friend's shop, and I just picked it up. And
no way.
Yeah, so 430 horse out of the box.
Dang. All right, tell us about that truck.
All right, this is a 1980 Chevrolet C10. It has a 5.3 and a 4L60 trans. LS, obviously. It's got a custom grind cam. It's got a little bit of head work done, headers on it, street tune. This is my personal vehicle. We're trying to get this ready for C10 Nationals.
Which is when?
It's in June.
June?
Yeah, like the middle of June. So right now we're just taking care of all the cosmetic work since we know the drivetrain is all nice and solid. So we're doing rust repair, floors, rockers, making sure all the gaps are appropriate. We're going to do a C-notch in the rear because the rear end does smack the frame a little bit, actually quite a bit.
Yeah. So you're actually kind of going against the grain, no air ride on this, huh?
Yeah, no air ride. We're going to stick with the loose springs and just make it a nice little driver. It's not going to be a show perfect truck, but it'll definitely turn some heads.
What's the main color going to be on the outside?
It'll be this like navy blue here.
Oh, that's a pretty color.
And then the inside will obviously be that cream color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good color combo.
Then the interior will be kind of match the steering wheel, so it'll be like that saddle brownish.
Yep.
Yeah. So it'll be a nice color combo.
Yeah, that's pretty rad. And then you leave in those rims and tires?
Yeah, they're US mag. They're like a Supreme looking wheel.
Yep.
They're all polished up, and the truck's actually together. It'll have a nice look. So kind of lowrider and old school lowrider in style with the wheels and the skinny whites, but also with the modern amenities of the LS.
No, I dig that. And then what do we have over here?
This is actually our customer vehicle, customer out of Washington State, and this is a '67 GTO. It's not a Lamaze GTO replica. It's a real deal GTO. And this is a 400 4-speed, all matching numbers car. One owner, one family owned since brand new.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty rad.
And it's actually my wife's cousin's car. And we went up one time to see them, and they talked about this GTO, and I was like, well, let's get this thing back on the road for you guys. It's been sitting since about 1975 or 76. And you know, we came up with a game plan and agreed to it, and you know, here she is a little over a year later.
What color is that?
It's Mariner turquoise, so it is the factory color.
Oh, really?
Yes, inside and out.
Yeah.
Mariner turquoise on the outside and metallic turquoise on the inside.
That's really cool.
Just open the hood here for you.
Oh.
And so, yeah, so factory, matching numbers, 400. And all we did was we took off the carburetor, and that's a Sniper EFI system on there. So we wanted to, the customer thought about going LS, but after he told me the history of the car, I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, keep it all original at that point.
It's like if you want, you know, the main goal of the car was to have a nice driver that you could take to shows.
Yep.
It's like you want the reliability of EFI, let's go do the Sniper, but rebuild the stock motor.
And I like that you went with like that matte color.
Yeah, definitely. It's, you know, you don't want to open the hood and just everything shining and bouncing off and everything. You want to. That's kind of how I did it from the factory too.
Yeah.
With that kind of semi-gloss on the inside. So.
Dang, I dig it. Very cool. That's a beautiful car too.
Thank you.
Great work.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty rad. I dig it. And then we have, here's the list of everything to go, but that's not that much when you're doing a whole car.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, anything else you want to show us?
Got the 51 out here.
Okay.
This one is going to be a patina build, so we're going to leave the patina as is. I actually picked this up from a guy in, I think Taylorsville, yeah.
Yeah.
And he just kind of got tired of it. And it's on a stock chassis, but everything, like the rear end, and it's been front clipped from a '79 Camaro, I believe. So we're just gonna box everything, and I got a 5.3 LS that we're gonna rebuild. Or I'm actually have a buddy of mine rebuild, and we're gonna put that in here. And my buddy of mine, he owns Advanced HP Tuning over in Layton, so he's any of my LS stuff. That's who I take it to. I don't let anyone else touch my LS stuff but him. And
I might have a part or two for this if you need parts.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely.
All right. Full name again.
𝐿𝐄𝐤𝐞𝐿.
But you go by Oso.
But I go by Oso.
Because I'll never be able to do your first. Even the first time you told me, I'm like, hopefully he has a nickname.
Yeah. Definitely.
So we're sitting here with Oso and doing some shop talk. Are you just into cars, or is it old cars?
It's mostly old cars. I mean, I do like my fast stuff. Like I got a 2004 GTO sitting in the backyard that I'm gonna let my friend do a dream LS build. So it's probably gonna be like a 7.4 liter 454 LSX.
Jeez.
Nasty monster in that thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But it's mostly old cars and trucks.
Okay, so what got you into the old cars and trucks?
When I was probably about 5 years old, even before that, I think it was probably like 4. I went to a car show and saw a two-tone candy apple red and pearl white 56 Bel Air.
Okay.
That was sitting on true spokes all the way on the ground.
Yep.
Skinny whites.
Yep.
Tuck and roll white tuck and roll interior, and I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
that did it for me.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Huh. And with that being said, do you have a dream vehicle?
Yeah, it's probably going to stay a dream vehicle, but it's a 1971 plum crazy purple 𝐏𝐥𝐞𝐚 440 4-speed convertible. Last time I checked, those were 3.5 million.
They're expensive.
4. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I've been watching here and there the Bear Jackson stuff, and some of the cars that are going across the auction block right now.
Crazy.
No, blue collar workers can't afford these cars anymore. Almost.
Yeah.
You know, unless you know how to do stuff.
Yeah.
You better know how to do wiring, paint, motor,
yeah,
all that good stuff. So what got you into doing? Now is this your full-time job?
It goes off and on sometimes.
Okay.
So my company is CSSF Rod and Custom.
Okay.
I do this part-time right now just because not many people are spending thousands and thousands of dollars fixing a car in a hurry to do so. So, I mean, I do work as a residential advisor, so like a residential counselor at the Clearfield Job Corps Center.
Oh, that's pretty rad.
Yeah, so I get to work with the youth and stuff like that. And a lot of them are into the automotive, and so we have conversations because they figure out that I got a business and
I love that.
I'm into classics and stuff like that, and so they want to get in the custom world too. So
hell yeah.
And then, but yeah, this is my business. It's always been like a hobby, and a lot of my friends, back in California where I'm from, they were always like, you should start a shop. You got good work, you've got good work ethic, you attention to detail. I was always iffy about it, but then COVID came around, and I was just like, me and my wife were talking. I was like, let's see where this goes. Yeah. And 4 years later, we're still going strong. So
hell yeah. No, I dig that quite a bit. What are some of the cars that you've turned out that you really like?
This one, I think, by far is my favorite since opening the business. Just because of the story behind it. They say you don't really find one family-owned vehicles
with number matching,
as well as like I've seen all the documentation from the dealership bill of sale to the original title to documented through the years. When the guy took it apart, he numbered everything and labeled everything. Like it's the story behind this is incredible.
So, who originally bought it?
My wife's cousin's dad.
And now it's your wife's cousin that owns it?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. So it's being passed down.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, does that cousin have kids?
Yeah.
That he'd pass this down to?
Yeah.
See, I love that so much.
Yeah.
We have a vehicle in our family that I built. It was my first hot rod I ever built, custom, 54 Chevy Bel Air. And my oldest son owns it, and he'll pass it to one of his kids.
Awesome.
That shows interest in it. But I love stories like that. Like, it really hits home with me. So with your custom stuff, what do you specialize in?
We're trying to figure out exactly what we specialize in, but I think it's leaning more toward the trucks because that's what I started with.
Okay.
A father figure of mine gave me a '63 Chevy C10 for my 14th birthday, and I played around with that truck up until it was unfortunately stolen from me when I was 20 years old.
Where at?
I was living in Antioch at the time.
Okay.
And it never turned up.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
it was probably in a million parts before that night was over.
Yeah, and so I've been on a mad hunt since, so probably what, 13 years to 12 years now, 12, 13 years, trying to find a truck like that so I can build it in memory of, you know, the guy who was like my father.
Oh, that's pretty rad.
Yeah.
I dig that. So how old are you?
32.
32. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple questions as we're going through shop talk that I'll ask periodically, and there's specific questions that I like to ask. But at 32 years old, I do believe you've been through multiple life experiences, right? Mm-hmm. What would you go back in time and tell your 9-year-old self at 32 and the knowledge you have right now?
That's a good question. I'd probably tell myself to follow your heart. Stick to your guns, follow your heart.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone tell you what you can or can't do.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a burning desire to do it and a passion to do it, do it.
Do it. I love that. It's weird thinking about that, right? What would you go back and tell your old self?
Yeah.
And then one of the questions when I ask people this, I always think to myself, would I have listened to myself at 9? Oh, you know what? I mean, I hope I would have.
I grew up a little too fast, so I think, and a lot of my friends are much older than me. Mm-hmm. Like when I got in the cars and I moved to, I grew up in a little town called Windsor, next to Santa Rosa, over in Northern California.
Yep.
And there were a lot of older guys there that were into the bombs and lowriders and stuff like that. So I gravitated toward them, full of wisdom, full of knowledge, and I would just sit back and soaked it up.
Yeah.
So I feel like at 9 years old, I probably would.
Hell yeah, I love that. What else do you do for fun besides cars?
I've really got a passion for the youth. I see myself in a lot of the youth because like I was the kid that was always like hanging around with the older guys and like, what kind of cars you got here? What kind of cars you got here? But so I've always like wanted to be in a mentor role, and my job at Job Corps allowing me to do that. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. But I do love, going to movies. I'm getting back into exercising and stuff like that, like I used to before, and I enjoy just listening to music. And my music playlist is, for lack of better words, like bipolar. Like 1 minute it'll be, it's like NWA. The next minute it'll be AC/DC. And the next one it'll be the Shirelles or whatever.
No, that's kind of mine too. I my music tastes are kind of just all over the place. If I hear a song I like it.
Yeah.
I don't care where it comes from. At 32, for anyone watching this, what's some life advice that you could give? What would be your life advice to give somebody else?
Probably be something that my wife told me, and it's always stuck with me. Be the change you want to see in the world. Like there's a lot, of BS, for lack of better words, going on in the world. A lot of uncertainty. A lot of people just not being people anymore. Yeah. So I would tell them the same thing my wife told me: just be the change you want to see. Smile, because never know what the next person's going through, and that smile could 100%. Literally save their life. Yep. Like, hey, this person smiled at me. As weird as it may sound, like, hey, maybe I do have reason to to keep going or keep pushing on.
No, honestly, I believe that 100% the truth. You notice nowadays, going to the store, pumping gas, no one smiles at each other. Right. People barely even look at each other anymore. But I actively do that. I actively try to smile at everybody. It's crazy what it'll do. A lot of people don't smile back, but somehow it kind of touched them somewhere that they were smiled at. And so I do believe that too. I think that's awesome. So how can people get a hold of you if they need work done? I'm
on Facebook, Instagram, CSSF Rod and Custom. I think I'm like _OSO on Facebook, then CSSF Rod and Custom.
Okay.
On Instagram, my phone number is in both of those. I also do TikTok videos. Like my daughter got me into the TikTok stuff, so I was like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty broad network. It's not just here. It's overseas stuff too. But and then like I said, cruising by, if people see my garage open, it's an open invitation. Hey, come say hi, and let's chop it up, and you can take a look at some of the current projects. And
I like that.
Don't tell me what you got going on. I'll tell you what I got going on. And yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If you had your garage open and a 17-year-old kid stopped by and was curious on how to get into doing what you're doing, what kind of advice would you give them?
First thing I would tell him or her would be to go to car shows and talk to people. Just if you see a car or a truck or a bike that you like, go up and find the owner and talk to them. Start networking that way. That's how I started. Yeah. I did end up going to school just because I'm like, I kind of want the paperwork to back up what I can do. Yep. So I did go to school for it, but schooling can come later. Yep. I did learn a lot more on networking and on the street than I did in school. But that'd be my advice: just spark a conversation and see where it takes you. Well, and one thing I can tell people is car people 100% willing to talk about their car. Yeah, absolutely. You want to spark up a conversation with a car person, just ask them about their car, and they will talk. Oh, yeah. They'll tell you what they've done to it, what they hate about it, what they're going to do to it. They'll tell you everything. Absolutely. And it is, I hope, I don't know how many youth I have. Well, I do. I know how many youth follow this page or watch the videos, and I'm hoping that the youth portion of it grows, only because there's a lot of good knowledge that people talk about, exactly what you said. Just go up and talk to somebody. Yeah. You see a car, a motorcycle, whatever truck you like, ask the person about it. What year? What have you done? I think that's great. I really like that quite a bit. So there's a portion of Shop Talk where I let we call it rolling out the red carpet for you. You can talk about or say whatever you want. Anything on your mind? Any things you got going on that you want to talk about? Got a lot going on. Like with the business, like we're still new, and we know we're still continuing wanting to grow. I mean, I kind of eventually, I constantly go back and forth, but I want to do almost like a mentor program. Yeah. Like talking about youth and everything, like, because I got into trouble, of course, like we all did back in the day and everything like that, and got hung out with the wrong crowd and got into trouble and stuff. And one thing that kind of saved my life was getting into these hot rods, because getting into the hot rods and custom stuff, you don't have time to go out and go clubbing and hanging out with this person, and you don't have time you don't have money for drugs, or alcohol. You don't have anything. It's just cars. It is like the times I get paid, I'm just like, all right, well, let's go to Harbor Freight and then let's go see what we have on Marketplace. Yeah. It's just so that people that and youth that just kind of want some direction, like, hey, let's get your hands busy with this, and let's keep this hobby going. Because I know a lot of people, like, they're like, oh, 32 and your wife's got this much older than you, and what's the secret? Because I know people wouldn't be super okay with it, and because we've been married for 7 years now. Okay. So I met her when I was like 24. Yeah. And she was like, you did hear how old I was, right? That was the first question. The second question is just like, you don't want any more kids, do you? And I was like, no, I got my two, boy and a girl and everything. But I'd say, never stop dating your wife. Even though you got the ring and whatever, and you got the title and you signed the paper or whatever, don't let it get stagnant. Because none of this here would be possible without her. I fully I lay down and say that. Yeah. None of this would be possible. Like the amount of time and money, she's even in here with me sometimes. I love that. She'll get it underneath the car and be like, hey, let me try. I got smaller fingers. Yeah, I get it. But never stop dating your spouse, your significant other, because just because you have that title doesn't mean you can just sit and be comfortable.
as you guys know, one of the things that I love about Shop Talk is getting the word out there and letting people's voices be heard. If any of my subscribers know a way that we can get OSO figured out on how we could get him started on a mentor hot rod project, leave some comments, get a hold of me, or get a hold of him.
Yeah.
His information will be linked in the description of this video. But I mean, how rad would that be if we could get OSO here, a building or a place that he could mentor the youth on building cars and keeping them off the streets, off drugs, and getting them in the right direction? I think that'd be rad.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, if you're interested, I shouldn't be speaking for you, but I mean, that would be amazing, right?
Yeah.
So let us know. Well, one last opportunity. Anything else you want to say?
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of the videos that you guys
Hell
did.
yeah,
and,
thank you.
And I was like, I got to sit down with them.
Yeah,
you know?
no, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I've actually enjoyed my time here. I've enjoyed seeing all the projects. I can't wait to see some of them completely finished and on the road.
Yeah.
When's the C10 Nationals again?
I believe it's the 20th and 21st of this month. It's a Friday, Saturday. Saturday, Sunday.
Of which month?
June.
June?
Yeah.
Well, that means that by August, the end of August, this will be on the road and you'll be at the Junction City Classic show.
Oh, I plan on it.
Okay.
I plan on it.
Well, brother, I appreciate you sitting down with me and chopping it up.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I'm Byron. This is OSO. Have a rad week, everybody.
Everything that happens is motivation.
The first question she asked me, she was like,
Do you like cougars?
that probably was on her mind, but she was more like,